All right, get ready for this one because today we're diving deep, like really deep into the world of the Ambani brothers.
Mukesh and Anil.
Mukesh and Anil, you got it.
Yeah.
And specifically, we're going to try to figure out how Anil went from being the sixth richest person in the entire world to basically being broke in just 16 years.
It's a crazy story. Talk about a fall from grace.
Oh, yeah.
We're using this YouTube video by Dhirubhai to guide us. It's got a ton of sources in it.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, get ready. It's a wild ride.
All right, so this is like a real life soap opera.
Totally.
With billions of dollars at stake. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So to understand this whole thing, the video takes us all the way back to their dad.
Right. Dhirubhai Ambani.
Dhirubhai Ambani.
This guy is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about ambition.
Oh, yeah.
He went from being like a gas station attendant to building Reliance Industries, which is one of the biggest companies in all of India.
Yeah. It's huge. So this is where, like, the seeds of the rivalry between the brothers, this is where it starts, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You can already see it because Dhirubhai clearly favored Mukesh.
Right.
He made him the vice chairman. Yeah. But Anil was just the joint managing director.
Okay.
So right away, you've got this imbalance. Yeah. And it even gets more interesting when you look at their marriages.
Right. Total opposites.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Mukesh has this very traditional arranged marriage.
Orchestrated by mom.
You know, set up by his mom.
Yeah.
But Anil.
He's a rebel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He falls head over heels for a Bollywood actress.
Oh, wow.
Tina Munim.
Yeah.
And he marries her despite his dad's disapproval.
Oh, so already you can kind of see how this is going to cause some issues.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The video even says that, like, even before Dhirubhai died.
Oh, wow.
Reliance was already split into these two factions.
Oh, were they?
Like, you had the pro-Mukesh camp.
Wow.
And the pro-Anil camp.
Okay, so the tension's already there.
Oh, yeah. It's brewing.
So then Dhirubhai dies.
In 2002.
2002. And that's when things really explode.
It's like the gloves come off, right?
It's on. The gloves are off.
Okay.
Anil felt like Mukesh was just sidelining him completely.
Right.
Using the company for his own personal gain.
Yeah.
Stacking it with all of his loyalists.
Oh, I see.
And that's when you start to see how Indian politics get, like, really intertwined with all of this.
Yeah.
Because Anil was super tight with this political party. The Samajwadi party.
Okay.
Which was an opposition party at the time.
Interesting.
And Mukesh saw this as a huge risk.
Oh, I see.
Because in India, business and politics are totally interlinked. Like they're very connected.
Right.
So this just poured fuel onto the fire.
And of course, I mean, the media's having a field day with all this.
Oh, yeah, it was a frenzy.
It's like the biggest reality show.
Like India's biggest reality show.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Things got so bad that the government actually had to step in.
Wow, really?
Yeah, to try and mediate between these two billionaire brothers.
Oh my goodness. So can you imagine being like the mediator in this?
I can't even imagine.
Like, what do you even say?
I don't know where you'd even begin.
So eventually they reach some kind of truce, right?
Yeah, in 2005, they finally agreed to a truce.
2005.
And they decide to split up the Reliance empire.
Okay, so how did they divide everything up?
So Mukesh, he got the core businesses.
Okay.
The Reliance Industries, IPCL.
Got it.
And Anil got Reliance Infocom, Reliance Energy, and Reliance Capital.
Okay.
But here's the catch.
Yeah.
They signed this 10-year non-compete agreement.
Oh, so they couldn't even compete with each other.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
For 10 years.
So Anil gets his piece of the pie.
Right.
And things are going great.
At first, yeah. By 2007, his net worth is like $45 billion.
Oh my goodness, that's insane.
He's insane. But then things start to go downhill.
Okay.
The video talks about this incident with the Reliance Power IPO.
Okay, so can you break that down for us?
Sure. An IPO, or initial public offering.
Yeah.
It's basically when a company first offers shares of itself to the public.
Right.
It's a way to raise capital.
Yeah. Okay.
But what happened with Reliance Power's IPO is that Anil accused Mukesh's companies of manipulating the share price.
Oh, really?
Yeah, causing him a massive loss.
So even though they split the business, Mukesh still had a way to screw with Anil.
It's like they could never truly escape each other's shadows.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
It's like they're linked.
Totally.
Okay, so then what happens?
Well, this incident reignited their animosity.
Right.
And it showed how fragile their truce really was.
It's like they're always right on the edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it exposed a weakness in Anil's approach.
Okay.
He relied heavily on debt to fuel his growth.
Oh, I see.
Which is always super risky.
Right.
And then there's this whole thing with the MTN merger.
Oh, tell me about that.
So MTN, it's this huge South African telecom company.
Okay.
And they wanted to merge with Reliance Communications, which was Anil's company.
Right, yeah.
This merger could have made Anil even richer than Mukesh.
Oh, wow.
But then Mukesh comes in and blocks the entire deal.
No way.
He said it violated their non-compete agreement.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was brutal.
So even though they had separate companies...
Yeah.
Mukesh still had all this power.
Exactly. Especially when it came to big moves like this, it really shows the power dynamic between them.
Yeah, still.
Even after the split.
Even after they divided everything up.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
So you can imagine Anil's probably fuming at this point.
Oh, I bet he was furious.
And that takes us to the gas wars.
Oh, yeah. Buckle up for this one.
This is where things get really intense.
This is where it gets wild.
Okay, so what happened?
So Anil needed natural gas to power his plants, right?
Yeah.
But guess who controlled the supply?
Mukesh. Of course.
They had this agreement for a set price.
Right.
But it totally fell apart.
Okay.
They had this huge dispute.
Yeah.
It ended up in court.
Oh, wow.
And then the Indian government gets involved.
Oh, my goodness.
Saying that natural gas is a national asset.
Okay.
So it should be priced accordingly.
Oh, so it's not just the brothers fighting anymore?
No, it's way bigger than that now.
The government's stepping in.
Yeah, it's a huge mess.
So what happened?
Ultimately, the Supreme Court sided with Mukesh.
Wow.
Yeah, big blow to Anil.
Yeah, you think?
It was a public battle, like everyone was watching. The gas wars were devastating for Anil.
Oh, yeah.
Not just financially,
right,
but his reputation took a major hit.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, investors started questioning him.
Right.
Like, can you imagine you're an investor and you see this guy going head to head with his brother?
Right, and the government.
Yeah. They'd be like, I don't know about this guy.
Not a good look.
No, not at all.
And then to make things even crazier.
There's this incident with Anil's helicopter.
What happened?
Someone sabotaged it.
Oh my God.
And the technician who discovered the problem ends up dead.
Oh.
Under mysterious circumstances.
This is like a movie or something.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's like a thriller.
It really underscores the high stakes involved.
Yeah, I mean, things are getting dangerous.
Yeah, it went way beyond business.
Okay, so we've got the gas wars fallout.
Right.
Anil's reputation's taking a hit.
Yeah.
And then this crazy stuff with the helicopter.
Exactly. It's a wild story.
It's getting out of control.
Totally.
So where do we go from here?
Well, things get even more complicated.
Oh, no.
You won't believe what happens next. It's a mess, all right. The video goes on to talk about how Anil's companies were just drowning in debt.
Oh, no.
Like they owed money everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Not just to Indian banks,
right,
but also to Chinese banks.
Oh, so this is getting international.
Oh, yeah. This goes way beyond India's borders.
Okay.
And it brings in a whole other layer of complexity to Anil's downfall.
Right, because now you've got international finance involved.
Exactly. And China is a huge player in that world.
Right.
So the stakes just got even higher.
Yeah, much higher. And you mentioned that London court case where he declared a net worth of 0.
Oh, yeah. That's a wild one.
The video says that he claimed all of his investments had just, poof, vanished.
Like they disappeared into thin air.
Yeah, but the judge didn't buy it.
No, not at all.
It sounded like they thought he might be hiding assets.
Right. Which, I mean, it's kind of hard not to be skeptical.
Yeah, like the guy who built his fortune on taking risks, you know?
Exactly.
And using tons of debt.
Yeah, high stakes, wheeling and dealing.
And now suddenly he's saying he's lost everything.
Right, it's like, come on.
Okay, so let's try to make sense of this whole collapse.
Okay.
What were the main reasons this happened?
Right, well, the video points to a few key factors.
Okay.
One of the biggest was his reliance on debt.
Right, we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, he was constantly taking out loans.
Yeah.
Often from government-backed banks.
Oh, I see.
And, you know, his political connections probably came in handy there.
Right.
The strategy worked for a while.
Yeah.
But after the 2008 financial crisis,
yeah,
banks started getting a lot more careful.
Right.
And Anil's house of cards started to fall apart.
Oh, so it's like the perfect storm, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
The crisis hit.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a solid foundation to fall back on.
It seems like he was betting big on projects that needed tons of money up front.
Right.
Without always thinking about the long term.
Okay, interesting.
The video actually contrasts this with Mukesh's approach.
Oh. Well.
Mukesh focused on core industries like oil and gas.
Okay.
Which generated this steady, reliable cash flow.
Right. Less risky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anil, on the other hand, went after these flashy, capital-intensive sectors.
Oh, I see.
Like telecom, energy, infrastructure.
Okay.
These are fields where you need constant innovation and deep pockets to stay ahead.
Got it.
And that wasn't always Anil's strong suit.
Yeah, I mean, Mukesh also had that genius move of launching Reliance Jio.
Oh, yeah.
With free 4G service.
That was a game changer.
Totally disrupted the Indian telecom market.
It was like brilliant but ruthless, you know?
Yeah, it's a perfect example of how even the wealthiest, most powerful people can get completely overtaken.
If they don't adapt.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so what are the big lessons here?
Well, I think one big takeaway is that you can't rely too much on debt.
Right.
Or political connections.
Okay.
Those things can be helpful.
Yeah.
But they can also make you really vulnerable.
Especially in a world that's constantly changing, right?
Exactly. You got to be able to adapt.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like Anil was so focused on those short-term wins. Like he wasn't really thinking about the long game.
He's like, he wanted to build this empire.
Yeah.
But didn't have a solid plan for how to make it last.
And we can't forget about the family drama, right? Oh, yeah, that's a huge part of this story.
Like, what if they had been able to work together?
What could they have achieved?
It's crazy to think about.
The video really highlights that resentment between them.
Yeah.
Stemming from their father's favoritism.
Right, going all the way back.
Yeah, it's like this rivalry fueled by ambition and maybe even some insecurity.
Yeah.
Ultimately contributed to their downfall.
Wow, that's deep. It just shows you how important relationships are.
Absolutely.
Even in business.
You need trust, you need empathy, and you need to be willing to collaborate.
Because ultimately, those things can be just as valuable.
If not more so than just being really good at business.
Absolutely.
So
where does that leave us?
I think the Ambani brothers story is this really powerful reminder that success can be fleeting.
Right.
Even the most powerful people can be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's a cautionary tale about the need for strategic thinking, adaptability, and maybe most importantly, understanding the power of family.
Both for good and bad.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot, but it feels like we've only scratched the surface of this story.
There's so much more to unpack.
Yeah, it's incredibly complex and fascinating.
It really is.
And I'd encourage everyone listening
to
keep exploring the Ambani saga on your own.
It's a wild ride.
But for now, let's take a quick break.
Yeah, we need a minute to process all of this.
And we'll be back to wrap things up. All right, we're back, and I gotta say, I'm still kind of blown away by all the twists and turns in this Ambani story.
He's like a never-ending saga.
Yeah, and it's not just business, right?
No, it's way more than that.
It's like a Greek tragedy, but with billions of dollars involved.
You nailed it. It's about power, influence, and how far people will go to get what they want.
Even if it means betraying their own family.
Exactly. And the video does a really good job of putting this all in the context of India's changing economy.
Right. We see the rise of what they call crony capitalism.
Yeah, those blurred lines between business and politics.
And it makes you think about how hard it is to regulate these huge corporations.
Especially in a country that's developing so rapidly.
Yeah. It's like the Ambani brothers are a reflection of that whole story, you know?
They embody both the potential and the pitfalls of India's growth.
Totally. But let's go back to the human side of this for a second.
Okay.
I mean, the rivalry, the ambition, the betrayal.
It's also intense.
Yeah. It's both fascinating and heartbreaking at the same time.
Totally agree. And it makes you wonder, what if they'd been able to put their egos aside and actually work together?
Could they have achieved even more than their father?
It's the big question, right?
Yeah. Were they destined to clash?
Was it their upbringing, their personalities, the pressure of inheriting this massive empire?
We'll never know for sure.
But it definitely makes you think about the importance of relationships, even in the business world.
Right, because trust and empathy can be just as powerful as being a shrewd business person.
Absolutely, maybe even more so.
So as we wrap up this wild deep dive, I want to leave you with this one thought. What part of this story resonated with you the most?
This isn't just a story about two brothers. It's a reflection of our world.
Right.
A world driven by ambition and competition and the pursuit of power.
Yeah, but it's also a story about resilience and adaptability.
And the power of human connection, for better or worse.
So well said. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of the Ambani brothers.
It's been a wild ride.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights.
And a new perspective on the complex interplay of business, family, and ambition.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.